I strongly believe it's important that allies make decisions fast, and that includes, of course, the United States. Because the United States is not the only supporter for Ukraine. Actually, European allies and Canada are providing roughly 50% of the military support to Ukraine. So this is really a shared effort by the United States and European allies and Canada. But of course, the United States is the biggest ally and is providing the most military support. And the fact that there has been no agreement in the US Congress on a supplemental or continued this support has consequences. That's one of the reasons why the Ukrainians have to ration the number of artillery shells, why they have problems standing up against the Russian force with overwhelming military power because of they are able to outgun them with more ammunition and more artillery. And the answer to that is to then make the decisions, not least in the US Congress. Any delay has real consequences on the battlefield. I met senators, members of the House of Representatives, and they are all, over the last weeks, and they have all assured me that there is a big majority in the US Congress for support. So the issue is now to turn that majority into a vote, a firm decision. And I hope that can happen as soon as possible. There's also a big majority in the US public for continued support to Ukraine. So I expect the US now to make a decision because it's in the US security interest to ensure that President Putin doesn't prevail in Ukraine, not least because this will also encourage other authoritarian leaders, including Beijing, to use military force and to violate international law. Support Ukraine should be less dependent on short-term voluntary offers and more dependent on long-term NATO commitments. By doing that, we will give Ukraine what they need, and that is long-term, predictable, robust support. And that will also send a message to Moscow that they cannot wait us out. And the reality is that if you want this war to end, the sooner we can convince Moscow that they will not win on the battlefield, they cannot wait us out, the sooner we can then be able to reach a peace agreement where Russia realizes that they cannot win the war, but have to sit down and negotiate an agreement where Ukraine prevails as a sovereign independent nation.
Good morning.